I'm Andreas Berendsen, an associate professor at DTU Compute, and I did this with a number, the small installation here with a number of PhD students. So Morten Nobel Jørgensen, we see on the left, Jannik Nielsen in the middle, and then just outside the frame we have Anders Larsen. So that's the group. And what this is about is really something called mixed reality. So very often we have virtual reality, which is where you just have a virtual scene and then you see this virtual scene either in what's called desktop virtual reality, which is like here where you just have a monitor or you put on some head-mounted displays and look at the virtual scene. Now in this case we're mixing a virtual scene with live video footage, which is why we call it mixed reality. And what's kind of interesting about this particular mixed reality installation is that we have the virtual scene with a fish swimming around, and then it's not just a camera, it's a Kinect that captures the guys, Morten and Jannik, throwing breadcrumbs to the fish. And the Kinect, of course, detects motion, famously. It has a skeletal model for each character or each person that it sees, so it detects their motions and hence it can detect whether they throw. And then once the throw motion is detected, the trajectory basically is computed, and we throw breadcrumbs along that trajectory and into the water where the fish await. So the fish is really what's called, it's kind of a particle system where we implement what's known as flocking behavior. So the fish try to align with each other, so they know each other's velocities and try to align, and they also repel each other a little bit so they don't swim into each other. And then of course they are attracted to the breadcrumbs, and there's also some noise which makes the motion less predictable. And then we have a particle system. Well, you kind of actually see that here. It's shown on the other end, where water is, there's a water jet going into the pool, and then there's some simple wave simulation going on when the breadcrumbs hit. There's actually also caustics in the water, so it's a little hard to see, but there's a lamp in the ceiling, and the water, of course, refracts the light into the pool. We're using standard off-the-shelf components, which I think is a really nice thing because it's a very lightweight project. It was developed in just a few weeks, which is possible because the Kinect is available as an off-the-shelf piece of equipment. But it relies on modern hardware in many ways. For instance, we need to stream, of course, full HD frames from one end to the other end, and also all of the computation here, like the fish swimming, the particles, and the little waves, all of this computation is going on the graphics card. So this is a proof of concept, of course, and it's fun. At least I think it's fun. Many people like to stand for quite some time in front of this installation, and it's only in part, of course, because you feed the fish. It's also because you see the other guys feed the fish. So there's some sort of communication going on where you can also play little games. You can try to steal the fish from the other guys, and you can try to gather them by throwing breadcrumbs in such a way that you gather all of the fish. So there's some element of game going on, but more than that, there's an element of communication. So when it comes to applications, I think it sort of points the way towards telepresence or teleconferencing. So in some cases you want maybe to show a virtual environment in telepresence, but maybe in some other cases you just want to communicate with people. That's very often the case. And then it's much better to just show the other guys in video than try to embed them in the virtual world, because it's hard to do without artifacts to cut out the person and put the person inside virtual reality. It's hard to do without artifacts. So I think an important point here is that we get a nice video stream of someone else combined with virtual reality, where you could imagine other artifacts. Maybe if you're discussing a particular problem, you could have documents or artifacts corresponding to whatever you're working on in the virtual space rather than these fish. So I think that really it's a proof of concept that shows that having a virtual scene between two parties communicating by video conferencing is a viable approach to teleconference.